Fellow citizens, good evening, and once again let me come to you with this short video on the unfortunate incident in the Ashanti region town of Ejura. A lot of discussions are ongoing, but the critical thing I want to put across is the question of why is it that our security personnel, some of them, are trigger happy, and sometimes their actions come across as if they are not professionally trained. I think they are professionally trained, but there's an aspect or perspective of their conduct and attitude when it comes to crowd control that all of us are missing or are not bringing into sharp focus. And this is it. You know, there is some relic of the colonial orientation of policing and military or security architecture or mentality or mindset orientation that were handed over to the independent Ghana. So the colonial administration used the military, used the police to suppress dissent in the colony and therefore in the country. So when the country was handed over to, after independence, to Ghanaians, there were attempts to reorient our security personnel for them to know that they are now, if you like, policing or providing security for their own people and protecting its citizens. Somehow, this colonial orientation of suppression of dissent, some elements still remain up to now. And why you see the police and the military, sometimes some personnel of them trigger happy, is not because they are not well trained. It's because they want to please the current political establishment. And when I say the current political establishment, I'm not talking about the current MPP government alone, but the civilian administrations of the Republic of Ghana tend to benefit from this, if you like, subtle or passive or underlying colonial orientation of our policing and military or security system that pleases the establishment. And the way forward, it's very simple. One day I would like to be president of Ghana, so when some of these things happen, we need to bring solutions to the table and see how we move forward. I have friends in the military, I have friends in the police service, and they are not people you say that they are not professionally trained. They are professionally trained. They know what to do. And the reason why some of these things happen is that you have trigger happy personnel who want to please the political establishment, and the political establishment also wants some of these people there. And that is why the solution I talk about is that we need to see leadership publicly condemn some of these atrocities, and also they should not attempt to take advantage of even personnel in the service who want to be sycophantic enough and catch the eye of the establishment so that they can be promoted. So when you have a situation where political leadership take advantage of personnel who are enthusiastic to prevent citizens from exercising their democratic right, you will find trigger happy police and military personnel doing what they did in Nigeria. You have this serious matter happening. The president of Ghana is not demonstrating publicly that is against that action. The president, when other things that are not as important as death of citizens, publicly talk about it. Now you have this serious matter happening. You don't see leadership sending the right signal to the police establishment, to the military establishment, that this is not the Ghana we want. This is not the security personnel we want, so that even if somebody is in the military or somebody is in the police service and is interested to be sycophantic, he's interested to catch the eye of the political establishment, he is told and he will be warned and he will know ahead of time that such an attitude will not be countenanced. But if you have people, you have a political culture where you militarize some tax or some group of people who demonstrate support for that administration or that political party, elevated, getting promoted into the security service. These people, when they get a chance into the security services, brutalize citizens, attempt to suppress dissent, attempt to suppress protest. And if those people get rewarded, then how do you blame a well supposedly or an otherwise trained military officer who tries to do the same thing to please his political masters? So going forward, this attempt where when military or police personnel attack civilians, attack citizens, whether in the context of protest or agitation or on ordinary days where soldiers and police find themselves so enthusiastic to brutalize citizens, abuse their uniform, abuse their position. When those things happen, we don't expect only a statement to be issued by the police like they've done in the Jura case, and that is the end of the matter. Nobody will take it to the next stage. The president is not interested to make sure it happens and to assure us publicly that this is the end of that investigation that the police said they were going to conduct. Colonel Agrekwashi has issued countless number of statements to whitewash military brutality among citizenry and so on and so forth. Yet you have the chairperson of the National Security Council, where you have all these nicely decorated military and police couples sit with the president, and they don't communicate a certain abhorrence to that conduct and attitude. If I were an enthusiastic, sycophantic constable or sergeant or corporal or any of the titles that any of the men down there have, I would think that that attitude is rewarded. Or if, better still, if it's not rewarded, it goes unpunished. So that attitude of a certain subtle endorsement of abuse of military and police power against citizens, which used to be the case when the colonial masters were there, is what is leading some of these spectacles you see, where soldiers, police people are trigger happy, shooting civilians left, right, center. So in my view, the way forward is to get very strong signal from the president, from the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, from the National Security Minister, from the Defense Minister, from the Minister for the Interior, to demonstrate to the security couples that, first of all, they don't wish and like them to be civilians in their bid to be loyal to the political establishment. That is where we need to focus, in my view, as this debate goes on.